Hi, my name's DJ Angelo and I'd like to introduce you to the Reloop BEATMIX, a brand new 2-channel controller for virtual DJ which is designed to get you hands-on and in the mix as soon as possible. Let's first take a closer look at the mixer section. As you can see, each channel has its own gain knob and 3-band EQ with a nice deep cut on the high, the mid and the low bands. In the middle of the mixer section is the master volume, headphone volume and cue mix control, which allows you to monitor either the master out or individual channels through your headphones, or even blend between the two. Below is a line fader for each channel, and of course there's a nice loose crossfader for cutting between your tracks. Right in the center of the BEATMIX is Reloop's trusty tracks encoder. This is your main tool for simple and mouseless navigation through Virtual DJ's browser, so you can access your crates and music libraries. Pressing the tracks encoder will hide the deck display should you need more space to browse through your files, and pushing the tracks encoder again restores the screen to the default display. To cycle through individual tracks within a crate, simply turn the tracks encoder clockwise or anti-clockwise to move the cursor up and down your list. If you want to access a different crate, just hold the shift button and the cursor will then exit the crate you were in and allow you to access a different one. Once you've located a track that you want to play, you can load it instantly to either deck using the designated load buttons for each channel. The load buttons can also be used to cycle between the 4 different tab views, which are Browser View, Sampler View, Effects View and Record View. To do this, simply hold Shift and press Load button B to cycle to the right and Load button A to cycle to the left. At the very bottom of the BEATMIX is the transport section for each deck. From right to left we have Play or Pause, Cue, Cup, which stands for Cue and Play, and finally there's a Sync button. Again, we have additional features available on the Shift layer, which are indicated by the text above each transport button. Holding Shift and pressing Sync will stop playback and skip the track back to the very beginning. Holding Shift and pressing Cup allows you to manually tap the tempo of a track. Shift plus Cue toggles fader start on or off, which when enabled allows you to start the playback of a track by simply opening the crossfader or the designated line fader. And finally, Shift and Play toggles key lock on or off. The BEATMIX allows you to set up to 3 hotkeys on the fly, which will glow red when assigned. To delete a cue point, simply hold the Shift button and press the corresponding hotkey button. Now let's take a look at the Jog Wheels. As you can see, they have a nice shiny aluminium finish which makes them comfortable to use and easy to grip. And they can be operated in 3 different modes. When in search mode, you're able to silently and quickly search through a track by turning the jog wheel. When in scratch mode, touching the platter will stop the track from playing and moving the rim will pitch bend the track. Basic scratch techniques are also possible in scratch mode. If both jog modes are disabled, the whole jog wheel can be used for pitch bending. Pitch bending can also be done with the pitch bend buttons. Holding the minus or plus button will momentarily decrease or increase the tempo of the playing track. When the pitch bend button is released, the track will continue playing at its normal tempo. The pitch bend buttons have another useful feature when used together with the shift button. By holding shift and pressing the plus button, the playing track will jump forward by 1 quantized beat. Likewise, holding Shift and pressing the minus button will jump the track backwards by one quantized beat. This can help you to correct phrasing whilst you're in the mix and even provide some interesting live remix possibilities. When it comes to manual beat matching, the 7cm pitch fader with its ultra-high 14-bit resolution is perfect for keeping your mixes tight. Now for the loop sections. By turning the loop encoder, this allows you to conveniently adjust your quantized loop size from a 32-beat loop all the way down to a 1/8 beat loop. To activate the loop, simply press the loop encoder. Once set, the loop can continue to be adjusted by turning the loop encoder. When a loop is activated, it's possible to move it forwards or backwards by one quantized beat at a time by holding Shift and turning the loop encoder. Pressing the loop encoder will deactivate an active loop at any time. Quantized loops can also be triggered by pressing the auto loop button, which will glow red when active. Loops can also be set manually as opposed to being quantized to a beat. Holding Shift and pressing beat mash sets the loop in point, and holding Shift with auto loop sets the loop out point. To exit the loop at any time, just press the auto loop button. Below the loop encoders, you'll find the Headphone Cue buttons, one for each channel, allowing you to monitor individual tracks or both together. Next to the Headphone Cue button is the Beat Mash button, which is a popular effect in Virtual DJ. The Beat Masher cuts and mashes up the track according to grid systems that can be customized and saved for future use. The other effects in Virtual DJ can also be controlled by the Reloop BEATMIX. The Effects Select encoder cycles through the various different effects, such as flanger, backspin, or break, and the parameter encoders can be used to tweak the characteristics of each effect. The chosen effect will be shown inside the Virtual DJ BEATMIX skin. For a closer look at the effects within Virtual DJ, hold Shift and press either the Load A or Load B button to cycle to the effects view. Reloop BEATMIX also has controls to trigger samples within Virtual DJ. Again, by holding Shift and pressing one of the track load buttons, you're able to cycle to the sample view. Holding Shift and turning the Effects Select encoder lets you choose what effect you want to use, and this is shown from within the Virtual DJ BEATMIX skin. To trigger the sample, hold Shift and press the Effects On button. To adjust the sample volume, hold Shift and turn the Parameter 1 knob. Virtual DJ comes with a selection of default samples, and by upgrading to Virtual DJ Pro, you're able to use and trigger your own custom sample. At the rear of the BEATMIX is a master out connection, which is controlled by the master knob. There's also a booth record out with a constant 0 decibel signal, making it ideal for recording live mixes or for connecting to monitor speakers with external volume control. At the front of the unit, you'll find a microphone input and its volume knob. The mic signal can either be routed directly through the master out of the BEATMIX, or if you have Virtual DJ Pro, it can be routed inside of Virtual DJ for internal effects processing. Also at the front of the unit is the headphone input. The sensitivity of the jog wheels can also be adjusted at the rear of the unit. Turning the knob to the minimum setting will disable the jog wheels entirely, whereas turning the knob to the maximum setting will give you the most hands-on control over your tracks for spinbacks and scratching effects. The Reloop BEATMIX can be powered entirely by USB, making it a very compact, convenient and portable DJ controller.